To talk about an idea that I've heard, the rumors in this subsidized housing complex where I live, with 300 resident spaces. The rumor is maybe they are thinking about doing drug testing of residents and prospective residents. And I heard, discussions about whether this was a good idea or not. Well, my own take on this, since I just had a bottle of pills come up missing and suspected my apartment of being entered, if this is the case, and I also suspect someone who is doing drugs or possibly running out of money and looking for things to pawn or ways to get more of, I think that's the type of individual that does enter apartments illegally with a key. This isn't the first time that resident apartments have been entered, and I immediately went and ordered a double lock, which we can do so that we can lock our apartment when we leave. Now, if it was, my apartment was entered, it was done when I wasn't there, because at night I throw the deadbolt. But the problem with the deadbolt is if something happens to me, then they would have to go through a certain amount of trouble to get into the apartment to do something about me. So when we get the double lock on our door, which I've ordered now, then when I leave my apartment, I can double lock it. It'll be locked through the regular key basis and through the double lock. So, but my own feeling about this is, if you have people addicted to an illegal substance, this means that they may be more threatening because to people regarding their suspected use. Another thing that I am very concerned about is a resident, a woman about 52 that I talked to many times over the years. She's been, was probably in here 6 years, was found dead about a month and a half ago. And now I understand through the police report, through access of getting the information on the police report, that she had cocaine in her bloodstream. Well, she's disabled. She can hardly walk, so my guess would be that she got the cocaine in here. And when somebody's found dead, that really, yes, her health wasn't good, but if there's an illegal drug in her body, then that too gives more cause for alarm and more, well, what can we do? And I do think that if this idea is put out, and I think that anyone who is doing illegal drugs and knows they can't pass the test will probably leave, or either leave or get the drugs, get off the drugs. But the program of testing would probably cost more money, so would it be worth it? I'm not the one to judge whether this program should be, but all I know is that I'm a lot more afraid of somebody on illegal drugs than I am of an alcoholic or others who are abusing substance, smoking or overeating. Yes, alcoholic. Well, yeah, alcoholics can be violent, but if you just leave them alone, why? But
can I interject a few thoughts here?
Go ahead.
All right, several thoughts have come to my mind. Never having been in a HUD project before, but having seen them over many, many years, if you start testing for drugs, legal or otherwise, you're never going to have any HUD projects with anybody in them.
Oh.
That's how they got here. That's what it's all about. Now, secondly, I would say that 90%
Would you come over a little bit? We can't see.
No, I don't want
your
to
face.
just see my hands good enough.
Oh.
I don't want to be seen on camera. I have to put a bag over my head. But 90%, I'm guessing 90% minimum, are on some kind of either prescription drugs, which is could be a heavy narcotic, or illegal drugs, or basically most of them are on both, because it's very easy to get drugs on the street. Excuse me, the next thing I want to say is this. If you start testing everybody for drugs everywhere, where do you stop? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Yeah, you're always going to have a few that are going to be screwed up mentally, and they're always going to be there. But if they don't pay their rent, or if they get a problem with law or the police, or enough complaints, then the landlord is allowed to evict them.
Yes, but judging from the past when we've had problem tenants, this takes a long time, and there's a lot of, I know I've had, on the 9th floor, there was another tenant who caused a lot of problems, and it took quite a long time. Sometimes if the tenant fights it, it can sometimes take a year.
Why don't you just give
A
these
year.
people your telephone number, your address, your email, your checking account number, your social security number?
No, so I don't know. When you sort of feel like you're a victim of the person people who, when it gets to the point where they're victimizing the other tenants, but you feel like, well, what can they do? I mean, how can we stop this? So I'm just throwing this out for food for thought.
I think you ought to start
What do
carrying a
you
handgun.
think? Oh,
You're in Arizona.
are
You're allowed
you
to carry a
kidding?
handgun.
I'm not gonna start carrying a
You can carry a
handgun.
handgun into
Ooh.
Starbucks. They
Well,
may be a little nervous.
I'm sure the person who's doing
Partner, I want more than
probably got a
extra
gun.
latte,
Well, all we
50
need is
dues.
for me to be armed.
That's
And
scary.
guess who
I gotta
probably? Guess who would probably get shot?
be the first one to get shot.
Oh, brother. Oh,
He'd
brother.
shoot me just like that, Well, you're knocking on my door. I thought you were the enemy.
Okay, that's all I want to say.